Hi, I'm Vanessa from the Wild Rose Project. I'm a birth keeper and a women's coach in Tucson, Arizona. So, what is free bleeding? Free bleeding is any time that you let the blood flow out without stopping it. You let the blood flow out of your vagina without stopping it. So, if you're using a tampon or a cup, you're not free bleeding. If you're using period underwear, you're free bleeding. If you are wearing a skirt and letting the blood just drip down your legs, you're free bleeding. If you're wearing a pair of black pants and just sitting on a towel at your desk or on your couch or when you're sleeping in bed, you're free bleeding. Free bleeding has so many actual health benefits. It's much better for your skin, for your vagina, for your vulva. This menstrual blood has stem cells in it, so it's really healthy to actually just let the blood coat the inside of your vagina and your vulva and even your legs or other parts of your body. There's lots of other benefits as well that I get into in my free bleeding mini course. There's also the spiritual side of it. There's also the like deep inner feminine wisdom of free bleeding, because obviously this is what our ancestors did, and it forces you to relax. It forces you to put yourself in a situation where you can make bleeding your priority. Like maybe you, and that's what red tents are about. It's going to a place so that you can be separated from your regular household responsibilities and you can just bleed with other women. Sounds pretty awesome, right? But we don't really have that in our culture now. So you have to make that experience for yourself, which means that you probably have to work from home or you have to rest, at least for the first day of your bleed, at least for the heaviest day. And when you actually let the blood flow out, you see how much is there. You see you're in touch more with the purpose of it, which is to release and let go. The energy of it is downward moving, connecting us to the earth. And when you go through this experience, you'll feel those connections deep in your body. And that's what I'm talking about with blood magic, with blood mysteries, and with this spiritual connection to your blood. Another really great reason to try it out is because, well, you might be thinking like, oh my gosh, no way. I would never let the blood drip down my thighs. I would never want to be caught in a situation where like it was a mess or like I didn't have enough things to soak it up. And that reaction that I had too when I first heard about it, that reaction is probably coming from this conditioning that you got when you first got your period as an adolescent. And you were probably told, you have to keep it clean. You have to keep it out of sight. You have to cover it up. You have to hide it. Don't worry, we have lots of ways in which you can keep this blood a secret. You can go about everything else you need to do. You can go to school, you can go to work, and no one will know that you're on your period. And that message, kind of instills in us this need to like keep it under wraps and be quick to clean it up and wash it up and stuff. So if you give this a try, maybe even just once on the first day of your cycle, you'll probably notice that it's not actually as messy as you thought. It's not actually as messy, or not as much as you thought. Like I found a couple years ago when I first started free bleeding that I didn't know how much blood I was making. Like when you use a tampon or I mean with a cup you can like see it, but it's like but you don't know what it looks like when it just like pours out when it's in your underwear. It's hard when it's in a pad or a tampon to see really how much blood you're making. And also I found that when I'm not plugging up with a cup or a tampon, I can feel it flowing out and I have a little bit of warning for when it's going to drip out. And I can go to where I want to go to. I can go to my towel. I can go to my toilet. I found that it much more easily will come out if I'm in a squatting position or if I'm sitting on the toilet. And it comes out of clothes and underwear really easily. It's a bodily fluid, so it washes out really easily. And these are all things that you'll find and you'll be like, whoa, I can't believe I didn't know this about myself. So I have a mini course that goes much more in depth on what free bleeding is, why you should give it a try, and how to logistically pull it off, what things to have around that might help you. I also touch on postpartum free bleeding, so if you have a baby, if you don't know, you're going to bleed for several weeks. You're going to bleed heavily, probably heavier than you ever have before. So it's really important not to plug up that bleed, especially. And I talk more in detail about that in the course, and why you might want to give it a try. So check out that course. It's only $29. The link is in the description. And feel free to reach out to me anytime if you have a question or if you want to book a session to work with me one-on-one. Happy bleeding!